All right, we're live on air back here on KUTV Rise today. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. I'm glad to be back on yet another Tuesday after one whole week. Yesterday, of course, you started this off with Art and Culture Monday with Ojwang Mariam. It was an exciting show, performances that were here, live acts and conversations that were kickstarting your week. And I'm picking it up here on business. So if you're watching this show for the first time, please do tell us where you're tuning in from, which part of this country or this part or which part of this globe you are watching this show from. Of course, we are live streaming online, and I'll be sharing that link on my Twitter timelines and also on other social platforms. Be on the lookout for that. I'll give you your shout outs. Also, if there's someone you'd like to tune in to Biashara Tuesday this day, please make sure you mention them in the comment section, interact with the others, and we will be sampling that feedback all throughout the show up until 10 a.m. It's a 3-hour show packed with conversations that are looking at the state of the economy, the business that you're doing on a day-to-day, and also any other thing that is affecting your sources of income. So welcome to Biashara Tuesday, and be keen to use the hashtag Rise Today, hashtag Biashara Tuesday, and tag us on all social platforms at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE, and I'll be looking at that as well. There's a host of issues that I've sampled here, and I'm trying to summarize for you so that you're prepared for the kind of conversations that will be showing up here later. Obviously, there's a newspaper review section later that has a look at the political discourse in the Republic and also the direction of the economy, the heart of the Republic. How are the finances? Those are conversations we are going to have. However, on the heat, online and offline, is President William Ruto, who's currently over abroad representing Kenyans at large in issues at the United Nations General Assembly in a summit called the Summit of the Future. They're discussing issues that are going to face the global economies and major economic centers for the next coming years. His message to other republics or to the United Nations Summit is that there's a need to relook how we have handled financial issues, how we've handled climate issues, security issues, so that we are relooking the global or the direction of global issues which are affecting especially countries of this side disproportionately. Yani, inaumiza Africa zaidi than all those other countries in the west part of the globe. So how do we harmonize this and ensure that issues of debt, climate change, security concerns are being addressed in a way that is favorable also for us on this side of the world? It's called UNGA Summit, and there was a trending hashtag, of course, on Twitter, if you were keen, all over the weekend from last week, which was Ban Ruto at UNGA, which was Kenyans rallying online to say that President William Ruto should not be providing any statement or giving any speech as regards to the state of Kenya, since there's a host of issues which he needs to solve back at home. So what are these issues? We'll be having a look at those. There's now the return of tribal politics, as tribal chiefs are being defended by their cronies, whether it is the new Usiguse Mrima conversation, which has happened in the DP camp, which now has brought in that fracture between President William Ruto and DP Gachagua. Are these sideshows, or is there truth in the matter of what is being discussed? There is a censure motion which has now been presented in the Senate, which is going to discuss the conduct of the Deputy President for the past few days, his utterances in public and also in TV appearances. There is a likelihood of an impeachment motion also hitting Parliament, and that's a discussion that has brought heat in both camps of UDA and also those who are supporters of DP Gachagua. These sideshows of which mountain not to touch and which mountain to touch are ignoring the mountain of issues that Kenyans are facing at the moment. University dons have been on strike now for a week, and we've seen these cases of, or we've seen very nation-like images coming out of the streets of Nairobi yesterday, where police officers were involved in running battles with the university dons, tear-gassing the lecturers for the first time in the history of university dons going on strike. We saw police officers dispersing them with tear gas. So what is the direction and what is the solution to the mountain of issues that Kenyans are facing? The heart of them all being the cost of living, or the cost of dying, which given the cost of living is on a high, and it seems is the biggest issue that Kenyans would like to be addressed rather than the political discourse which is currently happening. However, we'll have a look at all of that and also in the political discourse happening in the newspaper review section later on. We are sampling your feedback and seeing what you have to say in regards to the developments, but also most importantly, what is happening in the financial markets. How is your shilling faring on? In what prices are the exchange rates across the different places, of course, that you can get your exchanges at? The dollar to the shilling, the euro to the shilling, and also Bitcoin rates, all of that we're having a look at. And also the stock market, where can you put in your money this week? Where is it advisable to avoid placing your coins, and where is it advisable to put money and go all in? Those are the conversation we're looking forward to have here on the show. So make sure you are tagging us and also giving us your feedback on social media. Thank you for tuning in to Biashara Tuesday. Make sure you grab yourself a cup of hot water, warm beverage, warm milk, hot milk, whichever is your favorite and fancy this morning, and join us for this conversation all the way to the end. I'm having a look at the roads, the traffic updates, what's happening out there, what alternative routes can you use, and also caution to road users. What new rules can you be aware of in the roads out there? Tune in and let me know as well what is happening on your end. I'll be giving the updates all the way to 10. Thank you. Let's kick it off. The grammar police is already up. I'm being told by Josephat Aholi to pronounce this correctly before I move on to other matters. Thank you, Josephat, for tuning in all the way from the sides of Wangige. I will pronounce it. It's disproportionate. Disproportionately. We are being affected disproportionately. This side of the world is being affected disproportionately when it comes to matters of climate change. And those are some of the issues that President William Ruto was telling the rest of the world to have a look at. He's also demanding for a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, something that none of the African countries currently have, so that we are also harmonizing when it comes to dealing with global issues of terror and also securities which are cross-border. Let's have a look at the roads then. What is happening? I hope Josephat is happy with my pronunciation. Mathri routes are informing me of current traffic updates in the city and in the environs, transport conditions as well, and I'll also update you on the weather updates. If you go out there, what should you wear and what should be dressed in? But first, Miriam Njoki hapa on Twitter saying there's an accident at Safari Park. Traffic is forming. However, there's traffic police who are clearing the area. So approach cautiously. There is an accident at Safari Park on the highway on your way to town. It has involved 5 personal vehicles. So kama unaelekea sides of town, tumia service lane ukifika karibu na Roysambu so that you can avoid the Safari Park. There is an accident on the highway involving 5 personal vehicles. Police are on site. Namkwe safe when you're out there, especially on Thika Road this morning as you're rushing out to go to work. Here I have Dr. Alfred Letemere. Amenipatia some of the symbols of major manufacturers of your vehicles out there, from Jeep to Audi to BMW. Maybe someday we'll do a question, a Q&A here, or like what we used to do before, which was identify the brand, where we show you a few of these logos and then do a small game. So maybe very soon. Thank you, Dr. Alfred Letemere, for that feedback. Outer Ring Road, hapa hivi, kunakaa very clear. So if you're going to Outer Ring Road, you are sure to get to work as early as possible. There's no major traffic on that side. However, vandalism doesn't know bounds. It seems there was a barrier here that was supposed to help pedestrians and others who are using there that are not motorists. So pedestrians, cyclists, joggers ambao walikuwa wametengewa mahali Outer Ring Road. It seems someone went and vandalized the barriers. It is broken. The images I'm seeing here hazikai vizuri karibu na Dandora roundabout. Stolen actually. When you steal a barrier, where do you sell it at? Yeah. So an image of someone with a road sign in their house. Mnafanya nini hizi vitu? Mnaiba kutoka kwa barabara. Mabati ambayo yameseparate Dandora roundabout from the highway na mahali watu wanatembea. Someone has stolen it, and Kenyan Traffic and Kura Roads are being informed. Here to Ongata Rongai, coming from Ongata Rongai, joining to Langata Road, kumeshikana sana, looks like a traffic, looks like a parking lot on standstill. Pedestrians, avoid using headphones while crossing, walking along highways. Don't walk along the road shoulders. Pay attention to vehicles. Anything can happen at any moment. Especially youngins, Gen Zs. If you're out there and you're listening to music and you have headphones on and you're on the highway, please make sure that's not something you continue doing, because anything could happen as you're crossing the highway, or if you're using the road shoulders. Avoid being on music or on your phone or on headphones. That's caution being provided here by End Gen. Dear pedestrians, cyclists, joggers, kindly note that the left side mirror of trucks, especially of Isuzu models, protrudes outwards. You risk being struck if you walk too close on the road shoulders. Yeah, that's traffic sensitization for you. So if you're out there, beware that trucks on the left side might not be very visible. If you are kama hizo sides kama unatembea road shoulders, so avoid that. Na kama uko at ring road, uko road shoulders wameiba barriers, so avoid it completely. Try and use the service lane and in the right places. I hope Kura and the relevant authorities are looking at ensuring that is restored. But those are the major updates. Thika Road, Outer Ring Road, alafu sensitization kidogo na hapa na pale. Langata Road pale pia naona kumeshikana sana. It is the 24th of the month, bado magari zimeshikana out there, but Outer Ring Road it's clear. So if you're coming from Donholm, from the sides of Eastlands, and you're accessing Thika Road or accessing any other parts from that side to Jogoo Road, kunakaa vizuri sana for you. Weather updates just real quick for you. It is 26 degrees Celsius. It is 14 degrees Celsius, actually keeps changing. It is 14 degrees Celsius here where I'm at, and is expected to be so for the next few hours up until 10 a.m. And it's going to be a bit cloudy with no chances of precipitation today. 0% chances of precipitation, but dress warmly. It's going to be cloudy with very minimal chances of sunshine, especially in the sides of Kiambu, Ruiru, and the environs. Kutakuwa na mvua up until Sunday, so that's likely to be the weather for the rest of the week. Coming up in a short while here on Biashara Tuesday is a conversation on education. How do we ensure that we are having education into the standards that are necessary, and in standards that ensure continuity in the job market, and standards that ensure that our dons are respected? We've seen, of course, as I hinted earlier, there is an ongoing industrial strike by university lecturers and staff. Education with values and integrity. That's the conversation I'm going to be holding here in just a short while. I'm going to take a short break and then come back with Dr. Stephen Kioko, who is the head of department at the School of Education in Kiriri Women's University. We're looking at a host of issues under that theme, education with values and integrity. What exactly is it that we can do to ensure there's integrity and there's values, even as the world keeps evolving, the state of education keeps evolving, our values are being cross-pollinated with values from outside of our borders. There is cross-cultural interaction when it comes to education in high institutions. How do we ensure that education maintains its values and integrity? The state of religion in the country as well, and some of the cases of extremism when it comes to religion, are things that we'll have a look at with Dr. Stephen Kioko, who is, as I said, the head of department at the School of Education in Kiriri Women's University. Is very passionate about religion and society, and religion and gender empowerment. So we definitely will have a look at that, given that he's the head of department at a women's university. So watu wa Kiriri Uni, if you're tuning into the show, keep it locked, give us your feedback. Any questions that you've wanted to ask your HOD, please send them through. Na pia other universities, questions which are relevant to education with values and integrity, all of them being handled here. And then later, of course, the discourse on the business of the republic, the state of the economy, and politics. Don't go too far. This is Biashara Tuesday, coming to you hot and fast all the way to 10 a.m. I love it. Let's have fun.
Kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
My name is I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, ibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tuna kutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline Kimwe.
All right, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. This is KUTV Rise Today. My name is Richard OKENYE, and I am joining you live from our studios here within the campuses of Kenyatta University, and also this is just located in the outskirts of the capital city of the Republic. So we're within an education institution. That's why the next conversation is going to be quite exciting for me. We are right within where this conversation should be had. Education with integrity and values. How do we have that? And exactly in what ways can we measure if the education we are giving out to our children, the education we are receiving, has values and integrity? What are the pillars of, having a threshold that here, hapa, kwanzia hapa, now we have, integrity, and we have the values that are necessary to build a future of leaders, a future of, a nation that is taking care of its people and of each other. So that's wholesome conversation, and a bit of gender empowerment is what I'm discussing with Dr. Stephen Kioko. Is the head of department at the School of Education at Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. That's the full name, as he has informed me. So I'll let him welcome himself to the show, reintroduce himself, let us in on Kiriri Women's University, where it's at, and then we can get into the main conversation and also sampling your feedback. So if you have questions and you're within Kenyatta University, you're a lecturer, you're a teacher, and you'd like to pick a few notes here and there from Dr. Stephen, this is your chance to send us your feedback on social platforms at KUTV Kenya. Dr. Stephen, asante sana for creating time for us this morning, Dr. Glad to have you back at Kenyatta University.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself and then we can get into it.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dr. Stephen Kioko, and from Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. That's where I am. I know mostly people remember just to say Kiriri University, but the full name is Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. And I'm happy to be here. KU is home for me. This is where I did my master's. I've also taught for KU for some time. But my areas of interest are in religion and society, because mostly my initial training actually was in theology. Then I also did religion, generally, mostly to do with matters of religion and society. Also, my PhD is still on the same. And I'm happy to be here for quite a couple of things that we need to discuss, things which are contemporary touching our nation.
Very important. Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. So be aware out there, if you're mentioning it, that's the full name. Don't just say Kiriri Uni or Kiriri Women's, yeah? So you have a history with Kenyatta University, as you've mentioned there. You've taught in some of the classes here in the main campus and in Nyeri, and you also did your master's here at KU. Did you get education? Did you get education with values and integrity here?
Yeah, I did to some extent. I did, because my training here was in a master's in religious studies, that is in Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies. And it was quite interesting, and I would say that some of the things that I was able to do, and also to host some of the programs that I did with university students on education with the values and integrity. Actually, it was because of some of the things that I learned here.
Okay.
And also what I currently am able to write on things to do with religion and society, they came as a result of what I studied here. Yeah, so I would say, yes, some of the things I got them from here, but others from elsewhere.
Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. If maybe I feel like the education there is so good, it has the values I need, integrity, and unfortunately, I am Richard. I am not the gender that is allowed there. Is there a space for me? Is it strictly women, and why so?
Yeah, Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology is purely a women's university. And I know that is a question that people have been struggling. Why have you not included the boy child and all that? Are you discriminating the boy child? But you see, the vision was of the founder was anchored on empowering women on matters science and technology, excellence, quality and education. And therefore, yes, you as a man, you cannot be our student, but you can support us in different ways in helping us advance the empowerment of women in the society, because that is what we are, empowering women, giving them scholarships so that they can study, because one way of empowering women is by ensuring that they are educated. Yeah.
Right.
And that is what we are doing.
Especially in the history of how education was, women were, a bit segregated when it came to science and technology.
Exactly.
And STEM fields, yeah?
Exactly.
And I'm sure now Kiriri has done a lot in trying to balance that out.
Exactly, because now if you tell you that we are approaching 8,000 and we have got so many science courses, like is it not good when we even have women in computer science, in cybersecurity, women doing maths? In our days we were like, it's like maths or anything STEM was only for men, for boys. And you remember some of us who went, we are not that old, but when we went to school some time back, it was like if a woman scored maths more than you, it was like you are not a man. But now we are at that point whereby we see all these young people taking sciences, and then we are building the country.
And the future is moving towards technology, so it's good to have women involved as much as possible. They say even in the circles of women who are into tech and science that the future is female. So we are happy to see it from Kiriri Women's University. When we say education with values and integrity, what kind of values are we speaking of?
Okay, let me take you back to where this idea of education with values and integrity came from. This is something that I started running around 2014. And after I graduated with my master's and teaching at the university, I started noting something, that there is a disconnect between the class and outside the class. And I realized that we have got an emphasis on passing exams, getting good grades. But the question is, how does that translate to the life outside there? Like today we are here, like I like it, you are calling this a Biashara Tuesday. How do we train people in a class so that when they get outside there and they are doing their biashara, what are the values, what are aspects of integrity that they can have so that we can also have a peaceful country? We have got a lot of issues that we are talking about today in our country, corruption and what. But where are they coming from? It's because we have educated people and we have told them, go out there and get money. But do we ask them, how do you get that money? Is there integrity in the way we do business? So education with values and integrity is something that I started some time back, and I was hosting university students and reminding them that besides your grades, besides getting your first class honors, you need to be a well-rounded person, holistic. Your education should feature values, should feature integrity.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is something that you've also, spearheaded in the Department of Education.
Of course, yes. You see, like now we are reminding our students, some of the most simple things like dressing. And there is something I told my student the other day, that the first lesson, for example, a teacher teaches is his or her appearance in class. You stand there, the way you are appearing, you have already taught your first lesson. And therefore, that's some of the things that we enforce. Now, I will ask you maybe a rhetorical question. How come that nowadays people can even lose money and their phones in churches?
Because we have degraded our integrity.
Exactly. And if it can happen in churches, what will happen in our schools? Exactly. So that is why even at Kiriri Women's University, the Department of Education, and whenever I also meet students, we'll talk about issues of integrity. What values are you having? And one of the values that we have at Kiriri is excellence. And excellence also comes with what? It comes with the qualities of honesty, qualities of values. Getting people can go outside there, they can be dependable. Like, when we talk about, for example, our business of administration course, which has got so many students, what are we teaching them besides just how to do business? There should be honesty. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. With a new generation coming up, the famous Generation Z, there is a feeling of, your values, or now this is speaking as a Gen Z, right? Saying, these other generations that came before us, their values and what they stand for, we're not here about that. We are new, we are fresh, we have our own way of doing things, especially even when you're speaking about dress code. I'm sure there's a lot of friction, especially with the new freshmen. They're like, I'm used to dress like this. So what do you mean I can't dress like this? There's a way to present myself. How do you bridge that gap? Is it easy to do do it? And what are some of the ways you've ensured, the values and integrity is still transferred in that kind of difficult change of generations?
One of the challenges that we are having now with Gen Zs is the issue of disconnect. And the people thinking that, it's like they are disconnected from history.
Yeah.
And they are beginning from their own fresh start,
yeah.
which is actually a false ideology. Our lives are a continuation of, of the generations which are behind us. Yes, there are some things that will continue. There are other things that we discontinue. And in as much as we talk about issues of values, I know in our contemporary society and with many and majority of young people, it is not easy because they are like, no, that is outdated life. It is archaic.
Yeah.
But that is where we are losing it. And I would tell you, today we have got more people, young people, committing suicide, ending up in drugs than we had previously. And it is because we have disvalued the values, if I can say so. We have really disvalued the values. But we also need to understand that this is a kind of a talk, and not even, it's a discourse that we should have, let me call it that way, whereby we all come in and we say, what is it that we can get from the previous generations? What is it that we can get from today, so that we can also save their lives? Because what will be the point of having people who are so educated, but people who also end up into drugs?
Yeah, true. Will you blame globalization at that? Because young people interact online, they know everything that's happening in the US today, something that's happening in the Asia today, and then there's that cross cultural interaction as well online.
I wouldn't blame globalization.
Okay.
But I would blame us as individuals.
Okay.
What are we doing, even at a parental level, at a parent's level? What are we doing? Because yes, globalization will be there, but what am I doing today to prepare tomorrow's generation?
Okay.
That is where the disconnect came in, because the generation which came before now, the Generation Z, did they prepare them for what was to happen?
Okay.
Because we did not envisage a world which will go so much in technology and what globalization will do to us.
Yeah.
We didn't prepare them for that.
Okay.
So we have got a personal responsibility, to make sure that there are values. Let me give you a good example. When we were growing up and we were in primary school, there are some values that teachers taught us. I would see people picking a pencil just up to this size, and they will go to the assembly, and the teacher on duty will be given that pencil to ask the owner of that pencil.
Yeah, a 3 shilling pencil.
Exactly. Now, what about today? If you are in a class and you realize that somebody's 200 shillings, it's almost falling off from the pocket.
You'll help it fall.
Exactly. So we need to go back to those values.
Yeah. It's actually a bit difficult to even leave your phone these days and look a different direction for even 10 seconds.
Exactly.
You're very afraid of what might happen. It's also something that's happening with the newer generation. There's also lack of trust now that comes in when you get to that level. Asking it from a teaching perspective, while we maintain the focus on education, I assume it will be easy for you as someone who's in theology and religion to teach values and integrity. But I'm guessing there's a teacher out there teaching pure calculus. And all they know is calculus, integration. That's all they go and do for 2 hours. How can they also involve values and integrity in such a serious thing that they're teaching at Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology? They're purely a calculus teacher. Is there a way to inculcate values as well?
Yes, there is. And when I'm saying this, we also have a department in maths, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. But whether you are teaching calculus or what, remember, you are not teaching stones, you are teaching human beings. And these human beings, you are preparing them for the industry. They will be working with the people. And we cannot avoid, values in the workplace. So whether we are teaching them calculus, we cannot say it is calculus or it is purely philosophy. If they were stones, we will still say it's okay. They will be outside there, maybe on the mountains, on the rivers. But you are teaching human beings, and what is the end product? They will be somewhere in the field. They will be teaching other people. And actually, it should even start at the class. How do I even address my students in a class setup? I remember they are human beings. They have issues of life. So then the values should also begin there. And actually they begin with the teacher or the lecturer himself or herself. How does he present himself? how is he preparing these students for the world outside there? They will be working with people. These are people doing calculations. Now, what will mean for them if they are doing calculations and they are in a certain accounts office somewhere, for example? Will they deliberately miscalculate, or what will happen? So then we can never avoid values and integrity.
There's nowhere the values are not needed. And I like that it's not necessarily that you have to teach them that, today let's look at being a good human. It's also how you present yourself as a teacher, as you are also passing down the education and the values.
Exactly. And sometimes when you get some breaks here and there, what is it that you are telling those students? We usually have an emphasis, like for us at Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology, whenever you get a break of, like, for example, you are teaching a class of 3 hours. You cannot be teaching calculations, you cannot be teaching business for 3 hours, or maybe a CRE for 3 hours. You get like 10-minute break. What is it that you are telling these people? And that is where now we come in as educators. You know, can we say something of value? Can we say something about issues of drugs? Can we say something about how people should conduct themselves?
True. I think at this point I'll just give a shout out to my primary school teacher, Mr. Ototo, who used to take at least 20 minutes in every lesson to just give us a bit of his life history. At a point where he had a challenge, how he handled it, and how he interacted with other people. And I think indirectly I picked up values and things that I still use today, even without knowing. You know, you're there thinking it's a science class, but also getting life lessons. I like that. So for some of those values and ways in which we can maintain integrity, as Kiriri Women's is doing, is gender empowerment. For a university like Kenyatta University, where there's just all genders, how do we also pursue gender empowerment on that level? Is it possible in that kind of interaction?
Yes, it is possible. You know, one of those things that we have missed in gender is the moment we think of gender, we go straight away to thinking about the woman alone. And that is where we have missed it. You know, we need to look at each other in terms of value. And people have value. People have value. And the thing is, when I look at you, what is it that I see? When I look at that woman, what do I see? Do I see a sex object? Or do I see a human being who has got value? And therefore, the other extreme is whereby now maybe women have gone to the other side, and there is a lot of criticism towards men, or men are like this or that. But then when you talk about gender empowerment, we need to come to the table and say all of us, both men and women, we are important. We are created in the image of God. We complement each other. And therefore, even an institution like this, it is possible, because for all of us to be in one class, to be in the same workplace, we need each other. And there should be that aspect of I value you, I respect you. And I do that which can make you propel to the next level of your life.
Right. Apart from just within the institution, impact of Kiriri is the institute in the neighboring communities in spreading these values and integrity. There are programs to send out the students also just around there to ensure that even where we are located, there is, you know, a sharing of these values.
Of course, yes. You know, it is interesting that we are not just doing classwork, like we are only in a class and that's all. We also do community engagement. We have got so many students doing community service. And if you come around, sometimes you see our students cleaning around, talking to the people around, and also sending them within the sister community. So that, or the neighborhood, so that as they go out, it is not just about we are only in a class. There is also that touch of the word of the community. We also go to visit children's homes. We also visit other schools around. And like, for example, in the School of Education, when we are sending people for teaching practice, our first catchment area is just within the surrounding. Within the surrounding.
Just making sure you're giving back.
And interesting, I also realized that I also have a number of students assisting parents with their kids and homework during the weekends and sometimes in the course of the week.
All right. That's nice. Giving back, it's important.
And other people, students also assisting other people in terms of doing their business within the locality.
As a teacher of and a scholar of religion and the related fields, how does religion play a part in maintaining these values and integrity? Is it a key role? Is it just a part of it? And how do we ensure that it's playing the right role?
Actually, religion has got a very critical role to play in the society. Very critical. The only question we need to ask ourselves is now to what extent?
Okay.
Now to what extent? But let me get you back a little bit. You know, religion is very interesting because all the things that we do, and especially in Africa, they will end up in religion. And you know, the great scholar John Beatty, professor, who said that Africans are notorious religious. And you know that religion is so critical because even when a famous politician is being buried, for example, you know, religion will be there.
Yeah.
You know, there must be a religious leader, for example. But the question that we are asking again is, what role is religion playing? Religion should be the conscience of the society. And I think that is where we are failing. Because morality has got a bigger component of religion. And the question is why? Because of the belief in the existence of God. You realize that God or gods have got a sense of that moral aspect because of defining of what is sacred. And therefore it comes with aspects of what is right and what is wrong. And that is where the issues of morality come in. But the question is, in a contemporary society, whereby there is relativism in religious matters, how do we enforce that? We also need to remember that we as human beings, we have got a very big component of religiosity within us because of the aspects of us, you know, being created by God, if I can put it in a theistic manner. But then at the same time, religion sometimes tends to compromise. And for example, now religion and political matters. Initially in Kenya, we had very good religious leaders, and especially from a Christian perspective, people who push the agenda of religion or the church being the conscience of this nation. People like the late David Gitari, the bishop, Alexander Muge, and many others. But now we are at a point whereby, you know, the church is getting up a little bit mixed up. Yeah. And now that mixing up is also making the young people, and especially the Gen Z now, to come to a point of saying, even the church, we don't want anything to do with the church, we don't trust you. And therefore that is why religion should go back to where it was, you know, in the 1980s, you know, when they will give a pastoral letter to the late President Moi and say, no, this cannot be happening. We will stand for this because we are the conscience of the nation.
But now in a situation where the young people have already lost trust, and we need them to not have that disconnect, as we had started this conversation with, and they've distrusted the church and its involvement, and they no longer feel like they belong there. That, you know, there's so many fractures with where exactly the truth is. And again, in a republic like Kenya, where we have different religions and different subsects even of the same religion, where can we find the truth? How can we find the truth? How can we point out and say, here is where the truth of morality is and values, and so that we don't mix up ourselves? Just to give a small background, maybe even for the conversation, we've come from months of, you know, cases in Shakahola, just to mention that, and others in other places where, you know, people have gone to the extremes of religion in trying to pursue values and morality. How can we pinpoint the truth?
One, it's very unfortunate that we would end up to cases of Shakahola. You know, it's so sad that we have lost so many people, and who knows, maybe also what is in the secret. Maybe there is also another one coming. But you know, where did it start? These things are starting. Let me speak from a Christian perspective, because we have lost the aspect of biblical preaching. That's where we lost it, because when prosperity gospel came in, and the preaching on prosperity gospel, and we made Christian life more materialistic, when we made success in life to be measured in terms of what you have materially. Before I came in, I saw a clip of a preacher. He was preaching recently somewhere, and he was telling people, we must drive cars. And actually holding on the microphone, he tried to nguruma, like maybe a Subaru or something like that. No,
to manifest.
Yes. What are we showing people, and especially the young people, that success in life can only be measured by what? By material things. But you see, that is how we missed it. We need to go back to the biblical preaching. And I will not say that we have lost it entirely.
Okay.
Even when we say there is a lot of false preaching around, there is also still some good preachers outside there.
Okay.
But then where can we get the truth? Because that is the question.
Yeah.
Let us stay away from anyone preaching about himself or herself. Let us move away from anyone who is so much interested, or the focus is on making money for himself and not preaching the gospel. And I will tell you the truth. The issue is, the moment people are not preaching God, they are not focusing people on Jesus, then they have lost it.
Right.
And that is how we can know the truth. The moment you realize that what I say is more about myself, I've lost it.
Right.
Even like today, when I'm here and I'm like from Kiriri Women's University, for example, if we were to talk about Kiriri entirely, it will not be about me. It will be about the institution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not about you in the institution.
Yeah.
In
so,
every matter. Yes.
Yeah, so that is it. So where can we find the truth? Let us go back and look at the preachers who are preaching the real gospel, who are preaching the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, not themselves.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you marry religion and education, especially in a setting where you're not sure this room who's who likes what, who's happy with what, when you're teaching and you're trying to pick values from the Bible to pass on to the students? How can you do that in a way that doesn't offend anyone?
Doing religion in a university class is interesting. But I usually have one philosophy in my classes. As you enter this class, leave your religion outside. You pick it after that, because we can discuss, we can interrogate all religions in that class without being biased. So whether we talk about Christianity, we talk about the Catholics, talk about the Protestants, we talk about the Muslims, we are talking about that in a university class. And the university class is not a seminary, it's not a workshop. It's not a workshop. It's not a it's not a church conference or something like that, or religious conference. We're asking issues whereby we talk about them. We are not focusing on you because you are a Christian or you are Muslim, you are Hindu, or you are what. We are just raising issues. Yeah.
All
So
right.
that is how we ensure fairness in our class. I know sometimes students would feel like uncomfortable, but for sure, if we really want to grow and go against some of the religious extremes that we have, we have to raise very critical and pertinent issues, and we have to discuss them.
Yeah, true.
We
Just
have to
discuss them from a very open-minded point of view.
Yeah, and I will give you an example. If you realize that religion has got an aspect of brainwashing people, we speak about it in class. And we ask questions. What do you think about this or that? What are some of the areas of extremism? And you'll be surprised. I've realized that at the end of my classes, students will tell me, and for sure, we have really never thought about this.
In that way.
Yeah.
When it's open-minded like that, I think it's easier rather than, you are wrong and this is what you should go back home with and this is the truth.
No, you see, when we start discussing, then we say all answers are right. But then you see, as a lecturer, you are also guiding the class, because there is also the end product. What is it that you want your students to get at the end? Because what would be the point of having very educated students who end up in Shakahola?
Yeah, nothing.
Because I've also seen even professors themselves being brainwashed. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether which age you are in.
Religion is so strong
and get to you.
Yeah, religion is so strong, strong that anyone can be brainwashed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we're speaking about integrity and values, especially for this generation that's supposed to carry on the mantle, there's fear that we've lost it. I'm speaking because I'm part of that generation. There's fear that we've lost it because, TikTok, they say we are all about TikTok, about trending, about getting money quick, about prosperity, get rich quick, wash. There's so much, that's being thrown around. Do you see hope for us, Dr. or from where you sit at?
There is hope.
Yeah.
The worst thing we can do is to lose hope. For me, I think there is hope. We need to go back and reinvent ourselves and ask ourselves, what is it that we want in life? What is it that we want? What is the most important thing? What do we live for? What defines us? That's very important. Yes, as you are saying, what we are seeing currently is all about, I want to get quick money. And we are at an age whereby everything is instant coffee, instant chapati. Maybe in the future we'll be having instant babies. Who knows? I don't know.
You order online and it lands.
Yeah. But you see, we need to go back And I'll relate this with an author that I love reading, Donald MacDonald. He wrote a book called Ordering Your Private World. And I think that is how we can still go back and bring sanity within ourselves and also within the inner person, because whatever is happening within the inner person will be reflected on my TikTok. Because if what I'm looking for is only to get followers, and I would say for some Gen Zs, they can do anything possible that they can do, regardless of the values and integrity, provided they get followers. Yeah.
As long as you can trend.
Yeah. But you see, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we want? What is it that we like to be known for? You have cited you are former primary school teacher. And I'm like, the current generation, the Gen Zs, what is it they would want the people who will come after them to cite? Will they be able to watch something on TikTok those days, or maybe there will be other platforms, and they say, yes, because of this, I got something. So the question is, what is it that we want? Is it just money, and that is the end of it? Or do we want to influence the future generations in a better way? And let me give you an example before we move to the next thing. You look at a preacher like Billy Graham, a man who preached for a long time, but he has left it as a legacy for so many other people. You have cited your primary school teacher. We can cite many other teachers who taught us. But the question I have for the Gen Zs is, who will be able to cite us? Yeah. So I'm saying most of the things that they are doing, they are not bad things. I love the influence. I love the way information can just travel within a short time, and we say.
So there's all that to celebrate, but just to make sure, as you have said there, it's channeled into the right places. I always say sometimes as well is, if you're, for this generation especially, if you're addicted to something, try and create some value out of it. So you are always on TikTok, try and see if you can do business with that TikTok account. If you're addicted to your WhatsApp account, try and create a business WhatsApp account and do something on the line, so that when you're there, half the time you're really not wasting time, you're just doing research for what you're on that platform for. That's how to channel that energy, not that you have to go cold turkey. Useme sasa kwanza leo, mimi nimeachana mambo ya TikTok, umesema TikTok inatupoteza. Yeah, just try to find a way to make it useful. Be an expert in digital marketing. These are the tools that are available to you. Those instant things that are being talked there, program them and create use out of it. So when we speak of education, values and integrity, this nation has a very deep problem with examination misconduct. In primary school level, on KCPE exams, you find cases of, a teacher sitting for an exam for a student. In cases in high schools where, exam malpractice is done even way before the examination period. I did my KCSE in a very interesting year in history of education in this country, the year 2015. It's if you mention to most people in the 2010s, they say 2015 is notorious with exam misconduct and malpractice. How do we ail ourselves from that, given that it's a problem that is from up top? We can't say the students have no values, have no integrity. They found their way into the Ministry of Education and gotten the papers. It seems to trickle down to them. How do we solve it? Because now when they grow up and you're coming out of that system and you know that your teacher helped you, cut corners in exams, the institution, the system is set up like that, you're like, how can you teach me about values when the people who are teaching me values don't have them either way? How do we ail ourselves from that situation?
Yeah. And before I answer your question, allow me to go back. There's something that you have mentioned on that we are not telling people to move away from social media and all those platforms, TikTok and all that. And you have said a very good point that let them make a good use of that. Like you have talked about, how can they go on things to do with digital marketing and all that, which is very important with the energy. And I remembered we as a university, Kiriri Women's University, when we saw that, we also began a course in digital marketing.
Nice.
We saw that we can also teach people how to get that energy that they have and translate it to something good.
Yeah.
Now to your question on matters of examination malpractice. We need to go back a little bit. Why do people cheat in exams? And why would it start all the way, from primary school? It is the mentality which we have grown up with, which we need to shake it off. And the mentality is that if you do not get good grades, you are useless in life. And we have always been told, it was the question of, like when we were growing up, ulikuwa na marks ngapi? Ulikuwa na namba ngapi? And you know, yeah, that has been the issue. And it's like, whoever did not get a good grade, it's like that person is useless in the society. And therefore, we started doing anything possible to ensure that we get good grades. And that is why we will want to get them, irrespective of the means that we use to get them. And now, the cartels now in different parts, knowing the culture that now we have, that we want to get good grades, and also parents pushing their children, because I am a lecturer. So I want to push also my daughter to be a lecturer also. I am a lawyer, and I also want my son to be a lawyer. I am a medical doctor. I also want to be my children to be medical doctors. I am a teacher. I also want my children to be teachers. And then I push them to get the grade. And therefore, that is why now issues of malpractice come in. So that is one issue. And, you know, in Kenya, there are those people who study the markets. They are very good in business. They study the market. They are like, what is it that people want? Well, they want good grades. We will provide them with the exams, and then they will do what they will pay. And the other thing is, we have not gone back to tell people to accept themselves. I will tell you, not all of us will be in the academia. Some of us, God will give us the ability of knowing good English, to communicate with the people, so that we can do the rest of the things that we have been adored to do. Yeah, and we need to come to that point of telling people that you need to accept yourself who you are. Like, I am an athlete. I may not need to pass in chemistry and in maths, but I'm still a human being. So that aspect of people understanding themselves and accepting themselves. But the bigger chunk of this has been because of what we have been taught to think, like, if you don't get good grades, what will happen? And also the songs have been composed, you know, concerning that, you know, you must go to school, you must get good. It's good to get good grades. But then what is it that we call good grades?
Don't compromise your values.
Yes,
in your journey to that.
I also see the same thing in universities, you know, whereby you want to pass by all means. You have a Kenya somewhere.
Degree in Yarambe.
Yeah, degree in Yarambe. I know that. But you see, the moment you get caught and you are expelled from a university, you will know that the degree is Yarambe.
Go back alone.
Yeah. So again, we need to go back and talk to people about values. And I will tell you, Richard, this is why we also have the issues in our society, issues of corruption. You know, how do we do our procurement? Now that the degree was Arambe,
we do Arambe again.
We do Arambe again in our offices. Yeah. And what happens? We ground our country. Yeah.
It starts early, even corruption.
Exactly.
Begins very early.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why it's important for us to have this conversation. Education with values and integrity. We're hoping that you're learning as a student and as someone who's a practitioner in areas of academia, a teacher, you're doing homeschooling or you're doing it in a regular school. Ensure that as you're teaching, you're also bringing up human beings who are going to be responsible in society and going to contribute positively with ethos, values, and integrity at the same time. I'm being told by my producer that we should be doing our final remarks at this point, but this conversation is getting more interesting for me, and there's so much you could speak about, but I'm hoping in those areas we've touched on, there's enough for everyone to carry home. In Kiriri Women's Uni, naulizwa hapa kama mna a plan expansion, people who can't get to the main campus like KU with branches all over, we expecting that. Kiriri Women's Uni in Kisii town.
Yeah. Plans are underway to do that. But you see, now in an age of technology, the first that we do is to go on the way of online and distant learning, of which we have got that one functional. We have online and distant learning, a directorate which is functional. We have got so many students who are online. So now, even before we put the campus there, maybe in different parts of the country physically, we already have it there virtually. So you can register with us and we can put you on online and distant learning. And you can continue with your studies, because currently we are so much into virtual space. And people should also accept that we are transitioning from now the physical aspects of a class setup also to virtual.
Right,
so,
and it's a University of Science and Technology.
Technology. So then if we are University of Science and Technology, then would we first put a physical building somewhere?
or
do
something
we first,
technology?
Yeah, we'll go technological and it is there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. for having this conversation with me.
Welcome.
Send greetings back to the ladies at Kiriri Women's University.
We will.
I know that's where now people can find their future partners who have values.
Of course,
and
yes.
integrity.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
that is where we are training them. So you come down there, yes, we can get ladies of value and integrity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asante sana. Maybe one last thing you could leave the fraternity at Kenyatta University with on this very topic of education with values and integrity. Something you can share with us that you've been doing on that side. Tuibie tu siri kidogo so that we practice it and see how it turns out.
You know, the secret here is live what you believe. Show people that you have values. Show people that you have integrity. It begins with us as educators. We as the lecturers, we are the drive. You know, live what you believe. Let us live these values. Let us live the integrity.
All right.
Yes.
Live what you believe. Yeah. That's the quote of the day from Biashara Tuesday with Dr. Stephen Kioko, is the head of department at the School of Education in Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. The location is?
Actually, you go to Githurai, then you go to Muyoko. We are at Muyoko. Yes, we are at Muyoko, and we from Githurai is just like 7 kilometers from Githurai,
right.
45, and we are straight there with a big campus.
You can also access it from Kawasukari.
Kawasukari. You can also use the Eastern Bypass near the roundabout Nairobi Gate. Then you just turn right, and then you are at the university.
Okay.
Actually, we are surrounded by good roads, so you can actually go to Kiriri from whichever side.
Nice.
Yeah.
Smooth ride there.
Exactly.
And you get to the gate, make sure you ask for Dr. Stephen Kioko. Mwambie unamtafuta have a discourse on integrity and values. Thank you so much for creating time for us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Going for a short break to meditate on those very wise words from Dr. Stephen Kioko, and then I'm coming back to sample your feedback, have more conversation. Remember, this is Biashara Tuesday. That has been the business of education, because you can't be a businessman with no values and integrity. It's important that you have that ingrained in you as early as possible. And then when I'm back, we'll have a discourse on the conversations which are happening on the dailies. Grab yourself a copy and let's see what is happening. What is the business of the Republic this morning? We'll be right back. Don't go too far.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimwele.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Lola ni programu inayokupa fursa ya kutizama video zozote pindi tu unapokuwa na nafasi. Hadithi za kukupa motisha, drama, maisha ya vyuo vikuu, teknolojia, masuala ya jamii, kuzuru maeneo tofauti, spoti, burudani na zaidi. Pata programu ya Lola sasa kwenye rununu yako kwa yote unayohitaji.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo, kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani, swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahoda mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Get ready to
embark on a journey into the exciting world of technology as we uncover the latest trends, interview top thought leaders, and dive deep into the world of tech like never before.
Currently, we are facing the challenge in terms of finance. It requires one to move from different counties because we really need a large data set for our model to be more accurate.
In this new and exciting series of the Technovation Show, join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Monday 8:30 p.m. for a fun and thrilling experience as we explore the cutting-edge developments, meet visionaries driving change.
Somebody who is in the underground mine doesn't know the presence of those gases. So there are a lot of gases involved. There is methane, there is carbon monoxide, and there is also hydrogen sulfide. These gases actually, they are very dangerous and they are very toxic.
And discover the endless possibilities of the tech world.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the floods, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found, because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Fashionistas, get ready to level up your style game. Tune in to Fashion Diaries every Monday at 8 p.m. with me, Ashley Asachi. From Kia Hills to slit suits, we've got the trends that will make you shine. Don't be left out. Join us for a fashion-filled adventure.
All right, thank you for keeping it here on Biashara Tuesday. Right after that intense discussion or conversation with Dr. Stephen Kioko from Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. Now we move to other issues which are developing from a world. We are grateful to KUTV reporters in the newsroom for preparing the following report of the most important happenings within the borders and also across the borders as well. So we begin with the lecturers' strike that is currently ongoing. 7 lecturers have been arrested yesterday as the university dons held peaceful demonstrations in the Central Business District over the unimplemented 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement. Let's have a look.
Strike hit second week. The lecturers of today hold peaceful demonstrations in their determination to present their petition to the Parliament, Treasury Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Education over the unimplemented 2021-2025 CBA. The University Academic Staff Union National Organizing Secretary Onesimus Maluki Mutio has issued a stern warning to the Vice-Chancellors against intimidation of their members, advising their members to remain solid and not to report to duty.
We want to say that our luta continua. The struggle continues. We are not going to give in. We are not going back to class. And I want to tell all our members, hold on. There is no teaching. There is no any academic activities that is going to take place in any public university until our CBA 2021-2025 is delivered in full. And we want to speak to those VCs that are intimidating our members. The VCs of Moranga, the VCs of Maseno, the VCs of Tomboya, we are coming for you. The VC of Krenyaga, stop intimidating our members. Tutawasalimia.
The University of Nairobi UASO chairman, among the 7 lecturers who were manhandled and arrested by police, has called the government to order, warning that the government need to respect human rights as the right to protest is enshrined in the Kenyan constitution.
We must respect human rights. We cannot arrest people who are demonstrating peacefully. You cannot arrest people who are peacefully assembling and asking for what is legitimately theirs. We shall continue. And it was 7 people. We are calling ourselves the UASU 7 who are arrested today. And we have the resolve to continue until we deliver this CP.
University students have now been left in confusion with the situation, wondering if normalcy will resume as parents are advised to keep students away from university premises, adding that the government should look into the matter and solve the situation urgently.
We want our students to learn and to get quality education. It is us who will deliver that quality education. Until this is done, we ask our parents to be patient with us. They should understand our case, that we must pay school fees, we must look neat, we must be role models to our students, and therefore we cannot accept to be impoverished. Let them ask their children to stay home or to stay away until this matter is resolved by the government.
Here at the University of Nairobi, learning has come to a standstill as the lecturers advise the students to remain at home until the government addresses their grievances. Collins Wekesa.
Now elsewhere, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has continued to be on the receiving end of direct attacks from his boss's allies on his recent conduct in public and Mount Kenya region unity calls. Speaking at Gadara Shopping Center during the launch of road construction in Kinangop, Kindiki highlighted that regardless of ranks, no leader is allowed to divide Kenyans along races, tribal lines, or social class. Baraka James has more.
Umoja ni nguvu. Utengano ni nini?
In what seemed to be a direct attack to the Deputy President's recent remarks, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki, one of President Ruto's closest allies, came out boldly condemning every attempt by leaders to divide Kenyans along race, tribal lines, or social classes, terming Kenyans as one people.
Tukiendelea na umoja, watu kutoka sehemu hata zingine wataweza kufika hapa Central ili tuwe na Kenya moja. Tusiwe ni Kenya ambayo tuko na migawanyiko mingi. Making sure that the people of Kenya live as one, live as brothers and sisters with one country, one nation, with one national anthem, one flag, one people.
Speaking while accompanying his roads and transport counterpart Davis Chirchir for inspection and launch of road construction in Kinangop, Kindiki seemingly showed no mercy to Gachagwa's rank as he called all leaders to work together regardless of their ranks in government.
Tufanye kazi kama ndugu na dada, bila kujali vyeo vyetu, vya kujali tofauti ambazo tunakuwa nazo.
In another occasion that saw Gachagua mercilessly attacked, Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli sharply condemned the second in command for what he termed as contradicting government policies, and his boss suggesting that he should be arrested for his conduct.
Deputy President should be an appointee of the President, not a running mate. Because when he becomes a running mate, he feels he's also a president. President William Samoei Ruto is out of the country and is on top of his car. Now he's the real president, misleading people, misguiding the nation. He must be arrested. You can't be contradicting government policies, contradicting your own president, contradicting everything.
Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has been conducting himself as if he belongs to only one region of the Republic of Kenya, to the exclusion of other regions of the Republic of Kenya, to the exclusion of other counties.
Gachagua continues to be on the receiving end of attacks from allies of the president over various issues, including Mount Kenya region unity campaigns, with his relationship with the president flowing on turbulent waters. James Baraka, KUTV News.
We move up to the president. Kenya is perceived to be a perfect economic investment zone for investors across the world. These sentiments were yesterday seconded by President William Ruto during the US-Kenya Business Investment Roundtable in New York. Ruto assured potential investors of Kenya's stability and the fiscal policy measures that are in place to create an enabling environment for investment while leveraging on technology in creating more job opportunities and markets. Nevertheless, Kenya is expected to co-host the inaugural World Chamber Federation Africa Summit next year, alongside the International Chamber of Commerce, an opportunity that will bring together entrepreneurs from across the world. All right, we'll have a deeper discussion later with Ojwang Mariam on that Ruto visit to the US and exactly what kind of goodies we are receiving. Now, back locally in Migori, the county government has rolled out a 40 million shilling empowerment program aimed at boosting the economic potential of its citizens at the grassroots level. The program promises financial grants to formal groups in all 40 wards of that community. Brenda Nyongesa has a report.
Migori County is embarking on a major empowerment initiative under its County Economic Empowerment Plan. The program, which is being spearheaded by the County Executive Committee member for Trade, Tourism and Cooperative Development, Betty Samburu, will see 40 million shillings disbursed as grants to benefit communities across the 40 wards in the county. According to Samburu, the funds will be distributed to 10 formal groups per ward, with a specific focus on empowering women, youth and special interest groups, such as persons living with disabilities. Each ward has been allocated 1 million shillings, with a breakdown that ensures 50% of the beneficiaries are women, 30% are youths, and 20% come from the special groups.
We are targeting 50% women, 30% youths, and 20% special groups, including people living with disability. In the committees, we had a youth Gen Z representative in each of the wards. We had a person living with disability representative in the committee, and we had women in the committee. Each ward has been allocated 1 million to benefit the ward. He said this is a ward-based program at the grassroots and meant to benefit the very vulnerable and down there at the group.
Recruitment is already underway at the ward level, with committees working to identify the groups that will benefit from this initiative. County Secretary Oscar Olima emphasized that the program aims to uplift local communities by enabling them to create and generate wealth at the grassroots levels, ultimately improving living standards for rural dwellers.
This has been executed through a bill that was passed in the Assembly to empower and give financial empowerment to various communities and various groups within the county. This one, the governor is doing as part of the fulfillment of his election or other manifesto to empower and economically energize less able communities within the county.
As the recruitment process continues, the Migori County government remains hopeful that this initiative will drive economic growth and improve livelihoods for the targeted groups. With the funds said to be distributed soon, many are optimistic about the positive impact it will have on the grassroots levels. Brenda Nyongesa, KUTV.
The one thing that I like to follow up is people who benefit from these so-called empowerment plans. So if you're in Migori, organize yourself, apply for this, and then let me know if you actually are able to get assistance from the county government, and it's not hearsay. We move from Migori to Embu. Animal feed manufacturers in that county have supported the livestock bill, noting that it will be beneficial by bringing regulation of the industry under one roof, which will cut costs, enhance efficiency and quality production.
Speaking after a workshop for animal feed manufacturers in Embu, Chief Executive Officer at Akefema, Paul Kamau, said feed manufacturers have declared a challenge of taxes from the nation and county government, which he said will be sorted by the livestock bill.
Livestock bill tunasema sisi kama Akefema hatutaki iwawe, tunataka itengezwe ikiwe vizuri. We don't want it killed, we want it cleaned so that inaweza kuwa beneficial for us. Na tumejiunga leo, tumediscuss sana na hawa na mifugo, wategezaji wa vyakula vya mifugo kuhusu hilo jambo la livestock bill. Kuna mambo ambayo tungetaka yabadilishwe na kuna mambo ambayo tungetaka yaongezwe.
The CEO also added that the association is on a series of sensitization to help feed manufacturers reduce post-production losses while maintaining the quality.
Kuna vitu vingi ambavyo vinasababisha quality bei ikiwe juu na pia quality ishuke chini. Ya kwanza ni watu ambao ni teknolojia wanaotumia kusiaga vyakula. Kwa Kiingereza tunasema efficiency na effectiveness ya production. So kama Akefema tunajaribu kuhakikisha watu hawapati losses. Tunafundisha wafuga wanachama wetu kuhusu kuavoid vitu kama waste.
As Dr. Gako Mwangi from Akefema says that the association is keen to promote the business that is hampered by a number of licenses from different authorities. Hence, livestock bill will bring them under one roof, cutting costs and saving time.
Naangalia agriculture promotion na agricultural growth in these times of maybe even mambo ya mabadiliko ya hali ya hewa. Tunaweza zalisha chakula na kwa wingi na njia gani, na hapo ndipo genetic modification iko. Tumekuwa involved kwa kujaribu kurobi hata serikali yetu itusaidie kuimport, kufanya importation ya mahindi, especially yellow maize kutoka nchi za ngambo.
Mwangi also says that the bill will also ensure that the feed manufacturers are involved in the policy formulation and public participation to improve the industry, hence quality of livestock.
Kutoka hapa Embu tutaenda kaunti hizi zingine zote, ndipo tukue tukifanya hiyo maneno ya kuelimisha feed millers na wakulima mambo ya kuzalisha na kutengeneza chakula kizuri chenye kitakuwa kisaidia wakulima kufanya kazi ya ukulima mzuri wa mifugo yao, ndipo wakulima hao wawe wakipata pesa na ile njia mzuri.
And on the other hand, a feed miller, Harrison Gathaiga, noted that the biggest challenge on feed production is that the raw materials have to be imported, adding that they support the livestock bill but must be involved to give their input. Rukia Hussein, KUTV.
From farmers, let's get some of the youth reforming. Elders from the Abasamia community in Huisero, Kakamega County, have expressed their concerns over the decline in morals among the youth. Led by Jack Omukuba and Rasto Angatia, the elders stated the lack of guidance from elders has significantly contributed to the moral decay, not only among the youth, but also among the women. They have initiated efforts to address this situation, calling on the government through the Constituency Development Fund to construct a dedicated space for meetings to educate the youth about morals and proper conduct.
Tabia imekuwa mbaya sana kwa vijana kwa ajili kuna wazazi wengine wamewachilia tu watoto. Hawaketi na watoto wao. Na mtoto msichana ilikuwa anatakana kila wakati akae na mama. Mtoto mvulana akae na baba. Ndio ajue vile anaweza ishi hapa duniani. Kwa ajili mtoto ukimwachilia hivyo atakuwa wild.
Wazazi wamezembea kwa ajili ya kutunza watoto wao. Kanisa pia limezembea, halifanyi kazi zao, na pia vikundi vya wazee. Kwa sababu kitambo tulikuwa na vikundi vya wazee wa mama ambao walikuwa wanafundisha watoto, na wazee ambao walikuwa wanafundisha watoto vijana. Hata wazazi, mtoto anaposoma wanamuogopa. Mtoto akifika university, wazazi wanamuogopa ya kwamba ni mtu mkubwa, lakini wamesahau ya kwamba yafaa wamfundishe kama mtoto.
Watu wenyewe wameanza kuzaana wenyewe sababu uko imeanza kupotea. Watu wenyewe wameanza kuzaana sababu damu yenu pengine ikuwa ya kuua mtu. Ni umeenda umeoa mtoto ya dada yako. Ni mtoto wa mama wa dada yako pengine ataharibika. Akiharibika pale pengine kwao walikuwa wameua mtu. Watakuja kwa bomba tena wafanye maneno kama hiyo.
Morals zimeharibika maeneo ya Western. It's interesting because that's the conversation. We've also had education with values and integrity. That is Huisero village in the areas of Kakamega. Now, we move across the borders into the United States. Joe Biden makes his final presidential address before the United Nations General Assembly this week. But hanging over his head as he takes to the podium for the last time and as he meets separately with other leaders in New York is the conflict in the Middle East and how his actions have shaped it.
This is the last time President Joe Biden will address a major international forum, the hundreds of leaders who gather each year for the United Nations General Assembly. It comes at a clutch moment, says the U.S. ambassador to the global body.
We say this every year, but this UNGA could not come at a more critical and more challenging moment. The list of crises and conflicts that demand attention and action only seem to grow and grow.
Atop that list, Gaza. Here, the U.S. position is not in line with the rest of the Assembly, which last week overwhelmingly passed a resolution demanding that Israel end its occupation of Palestinian territory within the next 12 months. The United States was among the 14 no votes, which Thomas Greenfield said was in line with Washington's opposition to unilateral measures that undermine the prospect of a two-state solution. Analysts expect Biden to discuss his support of Israel and his support of Ukraine in this year's address. They spotlight those two conflicts as major challenges as he ends his presidency.
With the Middle East, this looks like, how do you keep the lid on this and hope the conflict doesn't spiral out of control into a regional war? And, I think there's anybody's best guess about what's going to happen there.
One thing is painfully clear. As the conflict nears the one-year mark, nearly 100 hostages are thought to remain in Hamas custody. The White House says bringing them home is their top priority and the key pillar of a deal to halt the fighting between Israel and the militant group. Kessler said many leaders will give Biden a warm welcome during his valedictory speech, as he has used his term to rebuild alliances and reestablish global norms.
There is a lot of affection for him out there in most nations. Of course, there's a few where there is not.
Biden speaks in New York Tuesday. Anita Powell, VOA News, New York.
Still in the United States, lawmakers from both major political parties have called for cooling the nation's heated campaign rhetoric. This follows a second apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump and his claims of some Haitian immigrants eating people's pets. VOA's Arash Arabadasadi reports.
U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump holds his first outdoor rally since last Sunday's second apparent assassination attempt. Without offering evidence, Trump had earlier blamed the rhetoric of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for the incident. In a statement published on whitehouse.gov, Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Harris said she was deeply disturbed by the possible assassination attempt, adding that she condemns political violence. In a recent and overwhelming show of bipartisanship, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill to increase Secret Service funding, with all members present supporting the measure.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Take a look at what happened.
The Secret Service recently acknowledged failures in securing Trump at the first attempted assassination in Pennsylvania, in which a bullet hit his ear. Now, the formation of a bipartisan task force to investigate those attempts and what's driving this wave of political violence, with both leaders speaking Sunday.
There's something that's happened to us. Our culture has been greatly affected by this. Rhetoric is rhetoric. Both sides say things at times. You look back and say, well, I didn't mean it that way. And that's the way it was perceived, and that's the way it was taken. You've got to be careful of what you say and how you say it.
And there's a big difference between having tough debates during the political season, which is what we should do, and condemning political violence and saying there is no place in our American society, whether you're Republican and Democrat, for anybody ever to take actions into their own hands and to resort to violence.
Meanwhile, Trump has continued to push his widely debunked claim that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio were kidnapping and eating people's pets. Claims refuted by Ohio's governor and the city's mayor, both Republicans. But a claim no less that's come with bomb and personal threats, keeping the community here on edge.
Since we are Haitian, when news like that is published in the media, it scares us. We are just searching for a better life.
The guy turned and said, "You Asians." Then he pulled a knife on me.
Despite calls in recent days to cool heated rhetoric, both campaigns are continuing to hit out loudly against each other on the campaign trail.
If Kamala Harris is reelected, she will kill the American dream forever. She's not competent to be president either, but I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. She's not competent.
We got folks running as Republicans for governor that are proud to refer themselves as Nazis. Let's not pretend that there's a gradual difference between the folks that are running here.
Early voting is already underway in some states ahead of the November 5th election. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
All right, that brings us to the end of the updates on KUTV Rise Today. That is from KUTV Newsroom. So if you want to follow through with the rest of the happenings in the Republic and elsewhere, make sure you watch 6:30 p.m. Mizizi ya Habari, the Swahili version, and then at 9 p.m. you have Prime Time News. That was prepared by Eddie Nyamu, and the anchor for those news yesterday night was Sylvia Anyango. Very grateful to them and to the whole newsroom for preparing us that report. I'm going to take a short break here on Biashara Tuesday. It's 9:03 in the morning. I'm coming back with Ojwang Mariam, colleague of mine here on Art and Culture Monday. We are getting on the political discourse and business discourse as it is detailed in the papers this morning. From the Standard, he has the Daily Nation and the Star with him. I have the Standard. So if you have any other paper, the East African, Business Daily, make sure you get it and give us your opinion, your reactions and your predictions for what is the priority of the stories there. I saw a very interesting story developing throughout the weekend. It's on the front of the Business Daily. Now you are being allowed to not only eat with your colleagues, but also to eat your colleagues. Here, a judge as the Employment and Labor Relations Court has ruled that romantic relationships between employees are lawful, and he has barred employers from interfering with matters of the heart. Matters of the heart are allowed to continue between employees going forward. So, yeah, how's it going to be for work wives and work husbands? The Employment and Labor Relations Court has ruled that romantic relationships between employees are lawful and has barred employers from interfering when it comes to matters of the heart. So, with your work wife and your work husband, you can not only eat together, but you can eat. Let's go for that break. I'll be right back. My name is Richard OKENYE. Tag me and I'll see your feedback.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Ukweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi, mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila woga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Ni kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
Professor in Cultural Studies from Academy of Art, Poland, Polish Society for Aesthetics, and this is Cutting Edge Research at Kenyatta University Television. Keep watching Cutting Edge Research.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground.
Where we ask the coolest questions in science. Let's go! Is yogurt really just rotten milk? Why do humans need sharks to survive? How did a 12-year-old boy from Africa invent modern vanilla farming? How do you deliver medicine to a chimpanzee? Can poop be useful? How can you save the planet by reducing air pollution? To help us answer these questions, we are inviting some wonderful guests from the world of science. They will enlighten you, make you hungry for knowledge, oxygenate your brain, and make your ideas flow. This is Engine Season 3. Let's go!
All right, that's how we get into this next segment of Biashara Tuesday. This is the newspaper review segment, and we have the Daily Nation, the Star, and the Standard there. I have with me Ojwang Mariam, who is going to help me break down the most important stories here and also get to hear his feedback. So I'll let him handle the Standard, and then we have the Star as a neutral thing here on this chessboard we have in between us, and then I have the Daily Nation. So let me begin by reading the headline on the Daily Nation, and we go around with Ojwang Mariam and then move to the Star. Alafu tusikie mnasema nini na sisi pia msikie tunasema nini. As Ojwang says, hapa ndio kweli unasema kwa ile language ambayo mwananchi anaweza kuelewa. The Daily Nation this morning is prioritizing a case of fraud. 720 million jobs fraud suspect who was in Ruto's Germany trip. So there's a gentleman here by the name of Mr. Caesar Kingori, and it seems they gave Caesar what doesn't belong to Caesar. 720 million worth of jobs promised to Kenyans, foreigners included, who have recorded statements with the detectives, but efforts to have their money refunded have hit a brick wall. So he was seen in photos with leaders at that trip by President William Ruto to Germany. William Ruto's recent delegation to Germany to sign labor agreements, which brought in a lot of stories, including the recent exporting of labor, which was refuted by the authorities over in Germany. So this gentleman has scammed a couple of people, including foreigners, and what's alleged here is that every job seeker was paying 150,000 Kenyan shillings. 150,000 Kenyan shillings. Ojwang Mariam, you can get us the headline.
The Standard bro talks of DP's trouble pile as leaders aim for spoils. Skiza. They're saying that Tana River Senator Danson Mongatana wants the Senate to censure the deputy president even as senior Mount Kenya leaders position themselves should the looming impeachment idea materialize and vacancies occur. It's a story that is highlighted in page 8 and 9 of the Standard.
All right, and with me here is help us with the Star.
The Star.
Or I can do the Star.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. The Star says counties burnt 10 billion of luxury fuel in a year.
That story on the Star is a story that talks of austerity indirectly. That counties have spent 10 billion on fuel and local travel. The Standard are talking of the same austerity, a story that is on page 23. Austerity. State used 27.34 billion on travel. A new report by the Controller of Budget shows spending on both domestic and foreign travel increased by 6.97 billion to 27.34 billion in the financial year ending at June 2023.
What austerity? That's the question there.
It's the same.
Even the Star is asking the same question here. What austerity? Some 37 developed units spent 5.12 billion on hospitality alone, and that is on the state.
Yes.
What is happening in the counties is also reflected
in
the state government.
Remember last week, we talked about counties that have done better in creating more resources and revenues for themselves. Nairobi governor had surpassed his by 4 trillion, raising the revenue from 9.3 billion to 12.4. Yes. And we were asking, where does the money go to? Now we have the answer
this day.
That this money goes to what they are calling in official language travel expenses. It's an austerity that happens hapo hivyo. Mtaani wanaita kuvuta kichele na maziwa.
Right.
If they want to go somewhere, all that money will be written down ni pesa za mafuta.
Extravagant expenditures are claimed under operations. Venye umesema hapo, nasema hii ni ya mafuta, hii ni ya delegation, hii ni ya maintenance. In page 4 and 5 of the Star, they're showing some of the most guilty people under this county burning of money. The first one here is Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza. And next we have Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika. And then we have Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka. I remember, where did Madaraka Day happen at? Was it Bungoma?
It was in not EC.
No. It was in Bungoma. I believe, yes.
Yeah.
That's where they were spending 2 million, 3 million, 5 million on PR purposes for Madaraka Day celebrations. So page 4 and 5 are detailing the answers to your questions from last week, or to our questions from last week, on where is the on-source revenue going to. The counties are making money. They're making revenue which is surpassing what they were raising previously, but a detailed report both on the Star and the Nation, that's the Standard, is showing that none of them are following austerity measures. But I wouldn't blame them or Joang at this point. When I was looking at this story, I was coming in with a lot of heat, very ready to fire down to the counties or to the governors. I was looking for my governor as well in this list, but he doesn't seem to be traveling a lot. I want to know where he's spending his money at. But if you look at what is happening within the state, even with the president, in 2023, President William Ruto came out to say they have new measures, which they are calling the austerity measures, on how many people should travel, where they should travel, how much money they should spend. But the president himself doesn't seem to be following through with his own provisions, so with the measures that he's asking others to follow through.
So they're using a lot of all that cash on what they are calling fuel, on what they are calling operation and maintenance. But on page 5 of the Standard National News, EACC still seeks to have carer officials' property seized. Kenya Rural Roads Authority properties to be seized. Kwa nini? Juu pesa zinapotea, hakuna kazi, ni corruption. Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission wamechoka pia. On the other side, unasikia state is using 27 point something billion on mambo kama hayo. Counties losing or burnt 10 billion on fuel. Fuel hii kwani ni ya jet.
5.12 billion on hospitality.
Si tutengeneze barabara basi as county na nani wanatumia fuel, hata sisi wengine wenye ni wa Kenya walipa ushuru bado tunaenjoy kutumia hizi barabara.
Right. It seems devolution then has failed on the financial front, even 10 years on. Is it 14 years now? Since the promulgation of the Great Book of the Constitution. We have a big issue within the counties in terms of expenditure, even as we focus our efforts in trying to keep the government of the state in check. Asking President William Ruto to cut down on expenditure, asking him to roll back on the finance bill. What can we do, Ojwang? Wewe kama mtu ambaye anafuatilia vitu, especially on the constituency level of things. It seems there's a bigger problem in the counties than it is in the state.
Yeah. There's a bigger problem because it's a hydra. It's a hydra na sio Hyderabad. Ni kinyoka tu kiko na vichwa mingi. Na each head wants to eat you equally. So the county inataka ikunyonye, the national government inataka ikunyonye. Lakini wewe hauna kitu cha kunyonyo for now. So ka ushuru kale kako na mwenzako ndo kanashikwa, wanasema ni pesa ya mafuta inaenda hivyo, unaona? So there will not be any development that you will feel. But according to them and the PR they do, they will tell you there is development.
Yes.
For now, they will want you to praise the county leaders, the governors. Like in Nakuru, the case of Nakuru, Governor Susan Kihika is number 2 kwa venye pesa zimepotea hapo hivyo. Fernandez Barasa has spent over $500,000 on fuel alone. Alafu hapo pengine kuna the former Senate Speaker anakwenda kwa jina anaitwaje huyu, the third governor on the Star wa Bungoma,
Kenneth Lusaka.
Kenneth Lusaka was a very great Senate Speaker. Wako hapo hivyo saa hii on pesa wanatumia kwa mafuta. Ni sawa, sio shida by the way. We can use 10 billion on mafuta kama wanatuonyesha mahali wameenda kufanya nini. Hizi gari tumeweka mafuta zikafanye nini? What projects have we seen? What projects have been completed?
Right. And we seem to spend a lot more on legal attorneys, especially Nairobi County and other counties here, and the total is at 2.7 billion. It's a good time to be a lawyer, Ojwang. If you want to keep somewhere where unaweza nyonywa, unahitaji provide legal services to the counties, because the lawyers here are getting a big payout. So page 4 and page 5 you can read the details in specific counties. So wanaonyesha which counties spend what on What activity exactly? They're showing expenditure on hospitality. Kakamega is topping there with 521 million. Nakuru 446 million. Bungoma 433 million in 1 year on hospitality services. This is just receiving guests pale kwa governor's mansion. Wimbo, kachai pale, kasoda pale. This is the money and the priority of your government in the county level. So as much as we are keeping check on the presidency, we're keeping check on the whole executive on the state level, it's important that you also see nini nafanyika county. I remember some time back tukiwa hapa tukisema as we were also the young people online wakisema occupy state house, occupy parliament. Ni important sasa ikuwe ni occupy Barasas, occupy Kihika, occupy Lusaka, occupy the county government, and ensure that you're getting the accountability from your governors and the county governments as well.
Unajua, for all that to happen, we need people who respect and uphold the law.
Yes.
Or the constitution. Because constitution iko clear. Inakuambia kama wewe ni state officer, there are certain things you can't do. And there are certain things you have to do. You are accountable. You are responsible. Lakini, sisi tumejifunza kubend rules. Such that hadi ukiingia ukurasa wa 12, the standard, court allows DPP to bend rules. in mambo ya terror, sindio? Now, when you allow director of public prosecution to bend laws, his boys, the police, will bend the law. And that is where you'll get things like what the Daily Nation have written as their headline pale hivyo kwa picha. Utapata that right now, university dons under UASU are on strike on very genuine cases. Yes. Article 37 of the same constitution grants, no, does not grant. It allows all of us to present our petitions peacefully and unarmed. But you will see police officers who juzi tu mahakama imesema hawafai kutokea kama hawajavaa sare ya polisi. What else will separate a police and a thug or a crook or a terrorist? Nini nyingine Ruto aliwaitaga ile time? Hizo vitu zote treasoners ni hao wenye hawana uniform. So we need to know kama mimi ndio treasoners, wewe si treasoners kwa sababu uko na nini? Uko na uniform, uko na badge, I can call you Kopro Gucha, Kopro Kenye, Senior Sergeant Richard, unaona? But the police are now arresting even university dons who are out on the streets protesting for genuine causes.
Something that has happened for the first time in history.
Wakiwa wamebeba rungu. And the sad thing is that how we employ police officers, it's through who knows who.
And who has many teeth.
Hakuna mahali watu isipokuwa kiganjo mahali unaendaje umekimbia vizuri. Hakuna mahali utasikia wakisema university kukue na studies kama hizo security studies wanafunzwa. So these police officers don't know who these lecturers are.
Yeah.
So everyone in the industry of Kenya amepitia kwa mikono ya lecturer kama alimaliza 844. Except
the police officers
wenye wako kwa barabara wanawapiga.
And this has never happened before because dons have been striking.
Yeah.
Na this time ni kama imekuwa wrong don because
it's a wrong don. Na hapo ndio unaona tukisema it's no longer a matter of the youth versus wazee. Kwani hawa university dons ni vijana. Unaona watu wako na nywele huku hivi masharubu ya white wengine vipara vina shine vizuri sana, utadhani ni the former IEBC chair.
And there's no respect accorded to them. Even the picture shown here on the Daily Nation, if you can still have it on the screen, that's, I wouldn't like to see my lecturer or my professor.
Imagine being harassed like this. Right. This can anger even university students who are comfortably at home right now because they know their dons are on strike.
Lakini mimi niko na blame kidogo Ojwang, na it's a concern that many Kenyans have been raising. Ndio hiyo picha hapo hewani iko pale Don akivutwa. A question that also Kenyans have brought up online is, when there were protests back in June by the young people, kulikuwa na hiyo ya Gen Z wanachoma nchi. Gen Z wanataka kutumalizia nchi. But later it seems even people who are unrelated to that age group, watu ambao ni madaktari, walimu tuliona wa secondary schools 2 weeks ago, now we are seeing these lecturers. Is it okay to fault them for not joining the struggle when it already started, and now they need this help. Because when I was listening to the statements of these lecturers post harassment by the police officers, by the way, the reason they were arrested is because they were marching towards Parliament and towards the Ministry of Education and to the government buildings along Harambe, right?
So where were they supposed to present their petitions? Because you petition to these offices, right. You petition to Parliament. Unajua kuandamana, acha nikueleze something about kuandamana. Times za baba, kuandamana ilikuwa utafute maji na mawe, utokee. You don't know kwenye unaenda na kwenye unaanza. But every protest organized should have a petition that haya ndio malalamishi yetu. Tunalalamikia nani? Tunalalamikia Ministry of Education, tunawapelekea. Tunalalamikia Parliament, tunawapelekea. Tunalalamikia rais mwenye hayuko Harambe Avenue mali yako na ofisi. Ako na ofisi wapi? State House. Na hata kaa sana juu maybe ataenda unga
huko New York.
Na hata rudi na unga. Kwa sababu hao ndio tunalalamikia, tunabebaga hizo petitions, tunapeleka hapo hivyo. Na people have changed. Now listen to the question that you are asking that I have an answer to. You asked why we should not fault the older generations who are not there when the youth were.
Am I wrong for not feeling anything for them at this point?
This is what I will tell you. I will not say if you are wrong or not, but I will give you truth and facts.
Okay.
You are from a conversation with a university lecturer from Kiriri Women University of Science and Technology.
Dr.
And
Stephen,
he said something that was very important, that our youths, the current youths, the millennials and Gen Zs, have disconnect with the history. Why do they have a disconnect with the history? Because history demands that you take status quo, use it today, tomorrow, and forever. But the same status quo is not working. So we need to do ways as times are changing.
Okay.
Kitambo hakukuwa na masuala ya ICT. Kitambo watu walikuwa wanauliwa mpaka barabarani, wengine wanapigwa. Watu kama vile Bishop Timothy Njoya, Reverend Timothy Njoya walipitia mengi sana huo wakati. Watu walikuwa wanaingishwa Nyayo House, wanafinywa. There are some of them I know that from today they cannot help us have more children. Because walifinywa mali. Saa hizi ukishikwa tu kidogo, we will tell those police officers that whatever you are doing is wrong.
Yes.
We will go back to the constituency level. Tuambie MP wendo patron of security. Whatever you are doing to our people is wrong. For example, in Roysambu they tried mambo ya ku-abduct watu. And we told the area MP, Honorable Augustine Kamande Mwafrika, will not allow that. So they tried with a guy mwenye walinunua, alikuwa anaitwa John Tewa Smoky. Kumbe hiyo hata ilikuwa ni kipindi. Some of these people wana abduct kama kipindi. The same thing unaona ati DP anapigwa. Pengine huku nyuma wanataka kusahau mambo ya Adani. Waendelee kutuambie ati it is Kindiki versus Rigathi. Isikia wapi Kindiki versus Rigathi. So hawa wazee, they believe that we have disconnected from history and we should connect with history.
Because the status quo is dying.
But the status quo should be dead. It's not working. Saa hizi wao sisi tukitokea maandamano ndio Gen Z wametokea. But wao wakitokea peaceful protest.
Right. That's why I was saying I had the press that was held after this confrontation with the police, and it seems that they are shocked that police are violent. Kusikia lecturers wakisema wanatumia force, mnaturushaje tear gas na sisi tunaenda peacefully. But I thought this was something that already happened. Na walikuwa washaona.
Sasa hao ndio watu wako karibu sana na rais. That is why President Ruto will go on mainstream media and say that he knows nothing about abductions. How can he know anything about abduction when this older generation are shocked? Wanatokea barabarani wanapata hata wao wanashikwa na shangala. So vijana wetu walikuwa wanashikwa.
Ilikuwa ukweli.
Yeah, but the good thing is they were not aware. The Bible again, my people perish for
because of lack of knowledge. Right.
It's that knowledge that we have acquired and accumulated from 2 or 3 and we are going. Tunaenda tukiwaonyesha. Tulishawaonyesha ni possible. finance bill.
So I think
inakataliwa hivyo vyote.
Then I think the person with disconnect at this point, maybe just to bring exactly. I should have brought it up when we were having a conversation with Dr. Stephen Kioko that indeed when you're gonna disconnect is not the newer generation, it's the older generation.
Yeah, because it's the history we are using.
Okay.
There is a genesis to all these ICT things. Kumekuwa na uvumbuzi wa hii, uvumbuzi wa ile. Haujaanza leo. Sisi ni kusoma tunasoma. Kitu kiko. Microsoft walianza kitambo kuleta mambo ya kompyuta. Sisi tunasoma hiyo unatuambia tumeget disconnected aje na history.
Tuko connected, tuko online 24/7.
Yeah. So sisi ndo the true students of Bob Marley. That we understand that history you're telling us.
Right.
Si mmetufunza class. But we're also telling you that the fact is there is a future ahead of us.
Okay.
And it is going to be a very negative future for us, the youth. Whereby I heard people complain that millennials have not set good standards or a good precedent for Generation Z.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Stephen was saying.
But these same millennials have not been empowered because wanafika saa hii yule mwenye ni richest ni mwenye ako na iPhone 15 Pro. Wewe mwenye unafaa kuwa anko wa kusaidia Gen Z, unafaa ukuwe na shamba.
Sio iPhone.
Lakini wale wazee wamekatalia mashamba na wananyakua mo. Status quo hapo hivyo yenye tunafaa kufuata ni gani? By the year 2050 hakutakuwa na mashamba. Mashamba yatatoka wapi wakati Adani wanakuja na washapata hadi mtetezi mpya anaitwa John Mbadi. Alafu wanafanya theatrics zingine noma tena zaidi kuliko zile ambazo huwa wanaona KNT, Kenya National Theatre. Ati ni Adani, John Mbadi pale hivyo kama CS anaulizwa maswali na senator wa Nairobi Edwin Sifuna na senator Onyonka. These people are buddies.
Friends.
Yeah, friends.
Embodies.
Ati nitakufinya tu kidogo lakini wewe bora upate story.
It's interesting you brought up something. You've mentioned something about the future. Yeah, and the president is on a trip to something called the Summit of the Future. Hiyo summit ambayo amekuwa nayo pale New York inaitwa Summit of the Future. We should have a lot of young people. I wonder who is the future when it's old men discussing it, but we'll get into it in a bit. For now, I want us to go back to bending of laws and rules. So we see that university dons, they're on the street, rules are being bended, articles of the constitution are being respected when it comes to picketing and presenting petitions. But also the most important thing that has happened in this republic for this year has been back-to-back protests. From January, we had doctors. I think people have forgotten actually there was a 2-month doctor strike just this year of 2024, and then it was followed up by medical interns ambao pia it was followed up by now the Gen Zs and the millennials and the young people in general, and now eventually we have university dons. Before that we even had KUPPET, walimu. Before that tulikuwa na JSS teachers. Na 26th of September interns ambao walipostiwa 3 months ago wamesema they are coming back to the streets because they have not been paid for those 3 months. Their terms are harsh, the conditions of working are not favorable, and much more. The reason being that all the CBAs, all these groups, the common thing is that CBAs has equally respected, which brings us back to that bending of laws and bending of rules. CBAs has equally respected. Austerity measures zinako kwa county hazikuwa respected. Watu wana travel venye wanataka, right? Constitution inasema hivi, president high respect. Can we still call ourselves a country governed by the constitution? No one seems to follow the law at all. If we fail to call this country a country that is governed by constitution, why is it governed by the constitution though? If we call it a country that is not governed by the constitution, then we are taking our heads on a silver platter to those who want to butcher us more. So you are imagine. Nisha give up. We must first accept that we have a constitution in this country, and we are a democratic country where the minority will have their say always. Hata kama majority wata have the way. So that is one thing we are supposed to accept. If we accept that, then we'll have the constitutionalism of this constitution. And it starts from what they think is the most useless. Article number 37. Article number 37 is informed and empowered by Article number 1 that the sovereignty and all powers
belong to the people. The sovereign power belongs to the people.
Yes.
So article 37 tells you to go out. Sio ndio rahisi. Unajua some of these things zingine zinafani gava inapatia wa Kenya. Unaona? Lakini kuna ile yenye Mkenya anajifanyia. That if you cannot represent me directly, I can represent myself. If you cannot represent me indirectly, I can come directly
and represent
myself.
Yes.
And that is why napata a lot of youths want to get into these leadership positions. And one thing that will ever happen in after 2007 is that we'll have a country that is governed by law. We have youths. Sisi sote, the youths, sisi sote, hata ukue mzuri au mbaya aje, kuna kitu moja tunaheshimu, sheria. Sawa? Sheria. Na sheria ndo inafanya watu wanapata, hata wanafanya vitu vibaya. For example, people who are engaged kwa hayo mambo yenye unasikia sijui wamepoteza mielekeo, sijui nini, wanarudiji kwa constitution, wanauliza, for example, if I want to maybe kulewa for vijana, constitution inasema nini? Don't drink and drive. Sindio? Most of the people who drink and drive na wanapata accidents ni wazee. Juu wameshazoea, wamekuwa na gari kutoka kitambo na wanajua hii gari inajua nyumbani. Sisi vijana hatuna magari tunaendesha. Sisi vitu hata zinatuua ni nduthi. Na mtu wa nduthi hana pesa za kukunywa fiti. So si yeye bado ni hawa wazee. So in 2027 we are going to have a lot of youths in these government positions. And yes, they will forget. They are the fellow youths. Juu kweli vijana watasahauliana.
Watu sahau.
Lakini hawatasahau sheria.
So from your to summarize what you're saying, you mean to say that the older generation is the one that's not respecting the law and the constitution.
Yes. Na wao ndo wanatu accuse ati sisi
tuko na disconnect.
In fact, they have a new name for people whom they think are not are active. Like those people who go for protests, they have a name for them. Wanawaita Gen Z. Utapata mtu yeye anaaminigi mtoto wake si Gen Z. Juu yeye Gen Z ni wale uchoma
wale utokea nje.
Unaona? So wao ndio hawaheshimu, but wataheshimu after 2027. Things will change.
All right.
Kama saa hizi wanajikoroga. DP troubles pile as leaders aim for spoils. Utapata hapo hivyo Benson Mungatana, Gladys Wanga, Francis Atwoli, Gathoni wa Mushomba na Millie Odhiambo wote wanaongelelea the war within the DP's camp and CS Kithure Kindiki's camp. Wacha sasa wao wapigane wao wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Vijana watulie, wanafaa kuwa wana rebrand sasa.
Kabisa.
Wana gain sasa momentum. Now stick to issues. Not people.
Issues.
Ukisikia wao wanaongelea nani anapigwa, wachana na hiyo.
Wachana na huyo jamaa. Let's focus on the issues. Ukisikia Ojwang ameanza kupigwa vita,
wachana na
vita ya Ojwang.
Focus na chenye tunapigania.
Sasa, so that we have a conclusion and a solution, the Daily Nation in this picture that shows the Dons wakivu this is a very funny and not funny image at the same time. It's not good to see an elder. This is an elder anavurutwa na kijana na rungu. Na inasema we won't be cowed. Varsity staff vow to go on with pay strike so that we stop being a nation of strikes, demonstrations kutoka January. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be, because that's guaranteed, as you said there in the constitution. However, there's need to have an end to this industrial strikes which are back to back. Kutoka January tumekuwa kwa strikes na CBAs azikui respected. That's why I was saying there is a feeling of not associating with what the professors and the teachers are doing now, because when they were needed to come out to the streets, they didn't come out. Is it time that everyone
had one voice?
Exactly. Is it time that everyone then, medical interns wakuje, JSS teachers wakuje, dons wakuje, kila mtu wakuje, tuende tumalize history mara moja?
Iko sawa, hivyo ndivyo inafaa.
Okay.
Now that hatuwezi uungana, it's clear by the way. Ukisikia wao watu wametokea utasikia haya ni maandamano ya baba. Haya ni maandamano ya
daktari. Mwalimu.
What if tungetokeaga sote tufanye hivyo? Ingekuwa kitu kingine, si ndio?
Right.
But right now what I'd say is Article 37 is not pegged on the whole country, as in the population. It's on an individual.
Pia mimi naweza tokea kitu
every person. So wewe ukisikia uko aggrieved, kotini. Ukishindwa na kotini, barabarani. So umesikia mpaka huyo manager mwenye aliweza kufutwa kwa sababu ya have a relationship with a younger person in
the same workplace.
In the same workplace. Constitution inasema wapi kitu kaa hiyo?
Haisemi.
Watu wengi sana wameweka biashara pamoja, unapata ni bwana na bibi. Hata kanisa unapata reverend nani na reverend nani walioana wao ndo wako hapo hivyo. Mbona hao
hawakatazwi?
Alafu pia utapata in this country, let me say this, as long as you are over 18, hakuna shida ya ati mwanaume ako 50 anakuoa ati tunaanza kukupiga huku na wao wasichana wadogo. Sisi ndio tunapigaga hao wazee juu ya wivu. We believe hao wasichana ni wetu na sasa juu tu afford, nyinyi mnawachukua nyinyi wazee. But kama mwanaume ni mwanaume, so kama hauna do, you must find value that will set you apart from other competitors.
Okay.
Sasa it's survival for the fittest. I will want to say this, na nisichukuliwe vibaya, that the country's first president married the first lady who produced a president when the lady was still around 18 years, yeye akiwa 53 years. That alipewa kazi ya president. Huyu mnamfuta na ni manager.
Kweli, hiyo ni story ambayo they can read by the on the Business Daily. That change in the Employment and Labor Relations Codes, which now allows employees, you know, in some of the places I have signed contracts, kuna hiyo clause ambayo inasema nisiwahi jaribu kumezea mate yule ambaye tunafanya naye kazi.
Unajua kwa nini unapeagwa hiyo clause? Because hapo hivyo ndo unaingishaga laxity, unakosa professionalism as an employee or as a worker. Unataka extend, unajua kila asubuhi every worker ukuwa na zile first 10 minutes za kudecide kama utaenda hiyo job ama utaenda. It happens, niliwaga nadhani ni mimi peke yangu ati nikiamka every 3:30.
So you're saying if you have a spouse you'll have a reason to go to the place.
Ngoja, if you have a spouse mnawaka pamoja, hiyo inakuwa waste 20 minutes. Juu kuna huyu 10 minutes na yeye 10 minutes. Unauliza, do we really need that job? Unaona? Mkianza kuleta hiyo level of unprofessionalism, inamaanisha hakuna kazi itafanyika. Na hizo ndo vitu zinafanya workplaces zina discourage. Si ati zina ban, haikuwa banned, zina discourage sisi wenyewe tumeanza kuwa irresponsible. But if we were responsible, there is nothing wrong with you marrying your co-worker.
Cannot police adults. Right. Let's go to the Daily Nation from that comical note where we see this fraud. Okay. When I was coming to the show, I had a way I wanted to relate this gentleman and the president, and in retrospect, I think that will land me in very hot water. However, there was a lot of scamming happening in this Germany trip. It didn't happen only with this gentleman, but it came from the office of the president in general. Let's say the state has already scammed us by saying that they had an agreement on a specific number of people who are supposed to go for these jobs in Germany. But then it seems there was another gentleman who went even further. Yeye alisema, wacha wale wanakula tax zenu wakiambiwa kuna jobs, mimi nakula cash. So he asked for 150,000 from desperate job seekers, according to how the Daily Nation is referring them to. I don't know, wamedetermine aje ni desperate, but ukilipa 150k ndo wende job Germany, anyway you're desperate. So he was not part of President William Ruto's delegation, but he's seen taking photos kwa hiyo trip, alafu akarudi akaambia watu, si mmeona tumekuwa pale na mzee, tumesecure makazi mimi na my company called Vintmark Travel Agency Limited. Amekuja na anawaitisha pesa, anaitwa Caesar Kingori. So they gave unto Caesar what doesn't belong to Caesar. And it totals up to 720 million. Ojwang, I wanted us to discuss this story, not just on the trip and the fraud, but just how to identify fraud. How to know you're being defrauded. Unaweza kuwa uko hapa, unatafuta job, especially the people who watch this show, being a business show. Job seekers, young business people who are ready to jump onto an opportunity as fast as it crosses the door. Unaambiwa opportunity haikuji mara mbili. Do you have ways of knowing hapa kanaenda kuniramba? Vile ukipigiwa simu unasikia hello, hapa tumetumia pesa hapo, ilikuwa wrong, reverse, unajua huyu ni jamaa kamiti. How do you figure it out for yourself so that today we just educate people pia kidogo? Mchezo wa town uko unaonea mbali.
Mchezo wa town. So Germany imetufunza sana kuhusu mchezo wa town. I think good things have happened in Germany in the recent.
So we start with the good things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Germany, the recent travel for President and Raila Odinga to Germany, ndio imefanya tujue all these evils.
Yes.
Sawa. Na zilianza with the promise that came even before the trip. That we were going to take 250,000 Kenyans to Germany. We will pay for their travel expenses too. Kufika huko sawa. Na hapo hivyo ndio wale ambao ni wajanja walianza sakata ya vile ambavyo watawapeleka wenzao huko.
Yes.
Sawa. But ni aje wewe unaweza jua unakoniwa? It's very hard. It's a very thin line, especially when we are living in an artistic country.
Artistic, you mean?
Everyone is an actor. Everyone is an actor.
Kuna kipindi kila kona.
Kipindi kiko kila kona. Sawa. I will tell you why it's hard. When Senator Mandago was governor, sawa, he did the same thing. Alienda akadanganya watu wamesoma.
Masitarus and Co.
Wakatoa do mamilioni. I even heard siku fulani Masitarus akisema we know a conman when we see one. Akaulizwa na hao kama mkuona Mandago akiwaibia mamilioni. Akasema Mandago is a thief, not a conman.
Okay.
But ni conman ulioshwa. Ni kuoshwa. So you can never judge a book by its cover in this country because everyone is an actor.
But how can you check that this cover
you can tell
content
by
is
the
the same na cover?
You can tell. How did we know that 250,000 Kenyans were not going in Germany?
Because
through research na kutaka kujua. Kitambo tuko tunajua news za Germany zikiletwa hapa nchini Kenya. But now we can know through social media. Kama haujui utasema wewe haukuagi Twitter ama X. Ni kina nani hawakuagi Twitter ama X wengi? Ni hawa wenye ni wazee wenye wanasema we are disconnected from history. Abroad history may travel imeenda. Unaona? So you can do that due diligence.
Right.
Umeambiliwa nitakupea kazi na nakupea 150k. Bro, unatafuta kazi na uko na 150k. Unaweza si utumie hiyo kitu kujiajiri.
Right.
The education system hata imetufunza tabia mbaya yenye unasoma ndio uajiriwe. It is creating a society of employees in a land where there are no employment opportunities.
That's why it's easy
and
to
that is why their solution is take our youths abroad. Kwa nini? Hatuna kazi hapa bwana. Hatuna kazi hapa bwana, and the party that is leading the country, UDA, its motto is kazi ni kazi.
Na kazi ipo.
If they want you to do something yenye ni ya kujiajiri, they will tell you anza kuuza mahindi. Nunua boda boda. They will tell you anza kushona nguo. Hizi vitu zote you can do with 50k.
Right. So tumeanza na kusema kwanza, the first thing kama mtu anakuitisha pesa, first of all, hapo ndio unaanza ku
red flag
yako ya kwanza. Unaweka flag yako ya kwanza hapo, mali umeitishwa, nipatie 30,000 ndo nikupatie job opportunity, nipatie 100,000. Red flag kubwa moja serious. And then you start doing your due diligence.
Kushuka sasa. So unaanza kujiuliza, mbona naitishwa pesa? Hizi pesa ni za nini na nini?
Right.
So kitu kingine wanaweza kuambia ni za kuketa for your travel cost, accommodation, host mwenye utapata huko kukuconnect na yeye. Si ndio? Unarudi tena unasikia Gava alikuwa amesema hawa watu 250k tunawalipia travels. Unajiuliza so 150
mbona mimi natoa yangu?
Alafu wewe unaanza kujiconsole, hiyo ni ya kuseta aside jokers na sisi wenye ni serious.
Tuende faster.
Serious ndo wanakoniwa. So hizo mbili zinasaidia.
Right, so do your due diligence. This is not only for jobs outside the country. Hata hapa Kenya, there are situations where people have been conned. Unaita job interview. You're so many of you actually. Sometimes it's so serious, you think it's true.
Tuongee kuhusu job legit.
Right.
How much were you asked for to be in KUTV Kenya?
I was asked a total amount of 0.00 Kenyan shillings.
How much were you asked for to be content lead and marketing director for Nairobi Garage?
I was asked for $0.
Hauwezi niitisha pesa ndio unipee pesa.
Kweli.
Ati ni kazi.
Right.
Ukiitisha ujue hiyo ni fraud.
Yeah, so hata kama ni within the republic, make sure that the first thing ukishaitisha pesa, achana tuna hiyo story, or do your due diligence, ujue what the money is being spent on. As Ojwang is saying, I had a case of some people who were actually called for an interview, made an interview, watu 50, mmekuja, mko kwa room, wengi sana, mmeambiwa mkuja with your laptops, you're coming for a test, umeambiwa kazi ni ya handler wa factory, lakini umeambiwa kuja na laptop kwa sababu you want to see if you're competent, you've gone to school. Mnakuja mnaambiwa muache laptop in the other room And then here we just do the written test, and then when you're done, we'll come to the other room and do your IT test.
Na kazi yenye umekuja
unafanya exam, inacheki after 1 hour, unaona invigilator amekuja test. After 2 hours, no one is checking. After 3 hours, no one is checking. Then you realize you've been defrauded actually. All your items have disappeared. So the other thing I've noticed with this job ni watu ambao wali whistleblow kwa hii story pia walienda kwa website. Do a Google search. Mtu amekwambia anafanya Vintmark Travel Agency Limited. If it's a travel agency, it should have a functioning website that has a history, that has content you can see, has links that you can see. Do your own due diligence so that you don't end up as these people who are giving 150k desperately for jobs and reaching someone 720 million. Hata mimi napotea.
There's something else that can help Kenyans. Kenyans need to develop a reading culture.
Yes.
Because all these things come from reading.
Yeah.
Sasa ukipatana na gazeti soma, jua ni jobs gani ziko. Hizo hata ndio huwa apply.
Kweli.
Ukipatana na site, ingia, fanya soma.
Yes.
Angalia watu wenye wamekuwa hapo hivyo, kama kumwahi kuwa na complaints za tulipigwa fraud moja ajab. Siku hizi area hata isafishi enough.
Right. Also kama kuna successes from the past, you need to check history. Especially hizi wenye wanasema we are disconnected with history. Angalia history. I'm being told napigiwa kelele naambiwa ni time is bad. It's 9:54 in the morning Ojwang. Hata hatujaongea kuhusu Gachagua wasta. DP Rigathi Gachagua ambaye ako kwa shida, which I will just give my submission alafu wewe uweze ku do your last bits. I will want to say this without fear of contradiction, that I think DP Gachagua, regardless of whether the woes that are coming to him seem to be pointing from the camp of President William Ruto, he is likely the one who is spearheading this campaign against him. Because I feel from the kind of reputation, the kind of power that he yields, he has nothing much to unite 54 tribes. How many tribes do we have? 44 plus tribes in Kenya together, or 47 counties. To go on policy, to go on serious issues affecting Kenyans will be very hard to rise above President William Ruto. The best way is to pick from the script and the past papers ambazo DP Ruto back then, who's current president, back when he was DP, used the same cards. You seek for sympathy, you cause chaos, you make people point fingers at you, and then you start crying, and then even if there's no issue, you make sure there's an issue. You make sure there's a script against you so that there's something to be spoken about on your name every single day. Ukirealize even throughout the demonstration period that had young people going out to the streets for 2 months, DP Gachagua didn't speak of the demonstrations alone. Alikuwa anaongea demonstrations nusu ni usiguze mlima. Nusu ni demonstrations, nusu. His gospel was very constant. And I respect the consistency, I respect the art, but I can see it from a mile away. That is my submission on testing the waters, what it will take to impeach Gachagua. He wants the impeachment motion actually, and I'm sure he's wondering why it's late. Anataka hii impeachment motion last week. Ojwang, as we close.
My last submission.
Yes.
Still on the same, the political conversation. DP's troubles. He has no troubles. Anajua njia. But the thing is this, that campaigns have officially started. And I am sad about my generation and the generations below me. You am a late millennial. Wao wako pale hivyo wanaambiwa msifanye siasa. Focus. Kule juu kwa rais siasa imekuwa ikipigwa
mbaya sana.
But order kutoka juu inasema aje msifanye siasa. Unaona? Na around that time yenye President Ruto alikuwa anasema watu wasifanye siasa at all, ndo DP Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa anasema fanyeni kila kitu basi, lakini msiguze mlima. Si waliguza mlima. So time waliguza mlima na ukaona DP Rigathi Gachagua pale Marikiti akiambia watu ambao wako kwa ile soko iko jijini along Haile Selassie Avenue watoke huko, wasitoke huko, waende hiyo Kangundo Market. Wanaambiwa that was the official day campaigns were launched in this country. So everyone is in a campaign mode.
We're in campaign mode now.
But Rigathi Gachagua is approaching that campaign in a wrong way, trying to create fights between him and the CS Professor Kithure Kindiki. Imagine hadi siku hizi inakuwa ngumu kumuita professor because of the things that he has done.
Yes.
You are a professor of law. You are a lawyer. You are butchering the constitution right, left, and center. But I would like to say this as I conclude.
Yeah.
That it is not too late for anyone.
Okay.
That is why you saw DP Rigathi Gachagua and Amos Mwago mahali karibu yake. That is why you are seeing people like MP Kiharo, MP Ndende Nyoro, Gathoni wa Mushomba, they've all changed tunes.
Yes,
they are protecting their own.
Right.
So it's not late for him.
Okay.
Anaweza saidika. Kitu siwezi sema ati inawezekana ni yeye kukuwa president. How will you be a president of Mount Kenya alone? You must unite the country.
Okay.
All of us should be talking about that.
Right.
Uniting.
That for sure.
Sisi kama wa Kenya to unite ndio tufanye mambo pamoja na si lazima ikuwe politics.
Asante sana Ojwang Mariam, thank you for that submission. We'll be following up of course on those details. More important stories also in the papers, Adani deals, JKIA, follow through na ujue nini na happen. Also under 17 Kenya Starlets are playing World Cup. Did you know that? Ama unafuatilia tu mambo ya Arsenal na Man City na Liverpool sijui nini. Fuatilia pia nchi sports inaendelea aje. Thank you for tuning in to Biashara Tuesday. My name is Richard Okenya. I've had fun hosting this show from 7 a.m. and I'm glad for the guests who've joined me. Next week on Monday, Ojwang Mariam will begin the week with you on art and culture. Alafu pia Tuesday, tukuje hapa hivi, tufanye biashara kama kawaida. On social platforms, @Richard_Okenye. And I leave you at that point to follow through with KUTV's broadcasting at KUTV Kenya. Wise word for you to think about this week. He who swallows a whole coconut must have absolute trust in his rectum abilities. May your profits be high, but your humor higher this week so that you laugh all the way to the bank. I'm out.
Na text niggas get what body stead gimaya. Chudo to mabu flows on mera catch kaya. Anyalo forgive or mera o kanya forget. BMW mara tengo pako koma trap. The other day na pogom kati give a few bosses. Monda lock give my I need pesa give resources. My bro Mosho the Qatar settled in Miami. Join up out on our baba go get the money. God bless the family, we eating and we pray. I manifest, giggy billy, life is how you play. Was it really success? Album on the way. The lower trap wild boss, I hustle every day.